History of tennis. The history of tennis is rich and spans centuries, evolving from ancient games to the modern sport we know today. Here's a brief overview of its history. 1. Origins of tennis. Ancient beginnings. The roots of tennis can be traced back to ancient civilizations. The first known ball and racket games date back to ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome, but they weren't exactly like the tennis we know today. Medieval France. A game called jeu de paume, or game of the palm, was popular in France. Players initially used their hands to hit the ball, but later rackets were introduced. This game became the precursor to modern tennis. 15th century. The game evolved into a more structured form played in royal courts. By the 15th century, jeu de paume had become a popular pastime among the French nobility, especially in the courts of King Louis X too. The birth of lawn tennis. Major Walter Clopton Wingfield. In 1873. Wingfield, a British Army officer, patented a version of tennis that could be played outdoors on a grass court. He named it sphäristike, a Greek word meaning ball game. This game included rules that are very similar to modern tennis, including the use of rackets and the concept of a net. Development of lawn tennis. The game soon became known as lawn tennis and spread across Britain and the United States. Wingfield's version of the game was further refined into a more standardized form. 3. Early tennis competitions. The first Wimbledon, the world's first lawn tennis championship. The Wimbledon Championships was held in 1877 at the All England Club in London. The event started as a men's singles competition, with 22 players competing, and it has since grown to become the most prestigious tennis tournament in the world. Growth of tennis. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, tennis spread worldwide, with major tournaments such as the US Open and the French Open following suit. 4. The Open Era. Open Era begins. In 1968, tennis underwent a significant change with the introduction of the Open Era, when professional players were allowed to compete in Grand Slam tournaments. Prior to this, only amateur players were allowed to participate in major tournaments. This led to the emergence of top players like Rod Laver, Billie Jean King, Björn Borg, and Martina Navratilova, who helped shape modern tennis. 5. The rise of iconic players. Men's tennis. Throughout the late 20th century and into the 21st century, tennis saw the dominance of players like Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi, and Roger Federer, followed by a rivalry between Rafael Nadal, Federer, and Novak Djokovic. Women's tennis. On the women's side, icons like Serena Williams, Venus Williams, Steffi Graf, and Martina Navratilova became household names, pushing the boundaries of the sport. 6. Modern tennis today. Tennis remains one of the most popular and widely watched sports worldwide. Major tournaments like Wimbledon, the US Open, the French Open, and the Australian Open continue to attract global attention, showcasing top-level competition. Tennis has also evolved with new technologies, including advanced racket materials, electronic line calling, and performance-enhancing equipment. Key milestones in tennis history. 1877. First Wimbledon Championship held. 1968. The Open Era begins, allowing professional players to compete in Grand Slam tournaments. 1990s-2000s. Rise of tennis legends like Pete Sampras, Serena Williams, Andre Agassi, and Martina Hingis. 2000s present. The Big Three dominate men's tennis, while Serena Williams leads women's tennis. Tennis has transformed from a royal pastime to a global sport. With millions of fans around the world and countless players striving for Grand Slam titles,